So what's my networking strategy? And it's really simple, because people have all these complicated networking strategies. You look in books. First you ask yourself, who are my customers? Who are the people, if I looked at the core of my customers, who do I do business with? Like I mentioned to you before, mine is education, colleges, all right? It's the hospitality industry, restaurant, the gaming industry, the casinos, and executive grooming, executive work with HR departments. That's my focus. So I say, these are my customers, where can I find them? So I'm looking for the organizations that I come in contact with those people. Because if I'm hunting rabbits, and I'm in the high Sierra Mountains, chances are I'm not going to find any rabbits up there. Okay, a few mountain goats. You have to be in the right place. All right? Know that. Now, the elevator pitch. We're going to talk about two of the most important tools in networking. First is your elevator pitch. The second will be your business cards. Let's talk about elevator pitch. Have you ever heard of the term? Do you know what that is? Okay, can you tell me?
It's pretty much your branding statement or your 30-second commercial about who you are and what you do. And
That's good. But it isn't 30 seconds. It should be only 10 to 15 seconds. I'll tell you why. If you take a stopwatch and you press it and start talking for 30, try it for 30 seconds, after about 15 seconds, you get up into 20. Remember in the Peanuts character, the teacher, where she go, womp, 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 okay? So I want it to be 10 or 15 seconds long, all right? And if you time that out, it's good. Basically, what do I want in that message? It should be a key focus message, who I am and what I do, all right? Next, you want to focus that, which is, I want to look at the people I'm talking with and look at their needs and focus my elevator pitch to their need. And many people make that mistake as they come out with an elevator pitch that's just kind of generic. It tells me who they are, kind of what they do, but it doesn't have that other link. The hook is, what can I do for you? And that's very important. Now, the whole concept is to focus on their need, but I have 3 different groups that I deal with. And if you're like that, I have a different elevator pitch for education than I have for hospitality, than I do for corporate executives, because their needs are different. So I'm going to develop 3 different elevator pitches. All right, the one is not going to be enough. I need to look at all of them. So I want to tailor it to my crowd. The other concept is convey some passion for what you do. Because if I stood up here and I talked to you like this about doing etiquette training, okay, after a while it's going to be dry as a box of crackers, okay? I want to have some energy into it, and you want to convey it. Now I'm not talking like tidal wave, okay, but I'm talking about some energy that you're excited about what you do. You're engaging, because you have to remember, when you get into networking, who's been networking, say, for a decade or two? Hands. When you start developing that, where you're looking at that person, you can almost tell if you've got someone live there or someone who's just dead, right? Now, if I'm working a room, and I need to work this room, and I'm at that cocktail hour where I have the most mobility, if I'm talking to someone that doesn't seem to be that excited about what they do or who they are, I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. All right, because this person is not proactive, they're not engaged. And this is huge that you really put that in. Think about your elevator pitch when you develop it. All right, the next concept, and this is really important, is practice that elevator pitch. All right, practice it in front of a mirror. So I'm going to tell you right now, everything that you see right here, I know exactly what I look like because I practiced every package that I developed in front of a mirror. I know where my hands are, I know when it's time to have the inflection of the voice, all of it. It's polished, just like you're an actor. You think actors get that good? You know, just like they were born that way? Let me ask you, any of you ever done any commercials in front of a camera? Okay. Do you know how? That's difficult, isn't it?
I was an elf in a commercial.
Okay. I had a small television show I did with a local area. It was called Wine, Wit, and Wisdom, where I would teach people etiquette, entertaining, and wine. All right. When you first get on there, to convey that energy to just a small little lens. It's easy talking to people. I've done this for years. There's a feedback, but all of a sudden it's dead. There's just a lens. You really have to focus. Everything has to be in shape because as I'm moving here, you can get away with a little bit of this or that, but in front of a camera, it picks up every little thing. So have it down. The worst thing is to enter a room and really just not have it. All right, you feel uncomfortable with it. So let's talk about the other aspect of this, is the business card. Let me ask you a question. How many people have business cards right now? Who doesn't? Raise your hand. Not every hand went up, so I know there's a few people who don't. Okay, let's talk about some of the basic concepts of a business card. First, it should accurately represent you and the service you provide, which means if I look at a card, I should really make that easy connection. Oh, okay, I can see that. I've looked at business cards where I have no idea what people do. They have contact information and the rest. You have to remember, you're networking, so when you leave, that's the only representation you have of people, is that memory and that card. How do I contact them? And I need to make that connection. I always say today, in the computer world we live in, business cards are the only relevant paper really left, all right, is a business card. It's the most relevant piece, all right? I take that with me. So, what do I want to remember from it? It should provide that necessary information too. Have you ever had to search for that information? All right? It should have the phone number. If you're mobile, it should have your cell phone number. It should have your email address. And many people say, well, that's, everyone. Not everyone. Another aspect, and this is something personally you want to remember too, when you look at a card, you want to have, let's take my card, you want to have a graphic on the card. If you have a graphic on the card which gives interest, it should relate to what you do. Do you see the little butler boy there? He's got his little hand, he's showing the offerings, all right? That's important. I've seen these beautiful, cool graphics. They have all these things going on. It has no relation to what the person does, all right? That interest clicks in my mind because we're visual again. So I take that snapshot. Oh yeah, I remember, I pull that card up. The other aspect is everything. Name, your phone number, all of that should be prominent size on the card. I shouldn't have to search for it. And this is something very important when they get into designing cards. Have you ever seen business cards where the backing is a color, the ink is almost the same color, but maybe just a little different? All of a sudden, all that pertinent information gets lost. About a year ago, a woman gave me a card. She was the HR director of a large luxury resort corporation, all right? Literally, I had to go under a special light to look at this card, and her name was so small and that number, all right? I thought she was in espionage. I thought it was a microphone. Make it prominent so people can see it, all right? Make sure there's enough contrast between the print and the back of the card, because a lot of that can get washed away. Because as I'm talking to someone, if they hand me the card, when I look at the card, when you're being handed the card, or you look at that card, I can get that. It creates that impression that I'm now connecting to you in the conversation.